Ma'am, you are not audible.
Now it is audible.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Addition of an inert gas in equilibrium. At constant pressure, at constant volume. At constant volume and constant pressure. Number two, constant pressure. At a constant volume and at a constant pressure. Suppose you have taken PCl5 and you are heating it to decompose. So what will happen? PCl5 decomposes to form PCl3 and Cl2. So three gases are there in this. Three gases are there in this cylinder. Equilibrium has been reached. To this we are adding. To this we are adding an inert gas. In this, you are adding inert gas at a constant volume. Now, you add any amount of inert gas, but partial pressure of remaining PCl3, partial pressure of PCl, remaining PCl5, partial pressure of remaining PCl3, and partial pressure of this Cl2, that will remain the same. Partial pressures of these gases remain the same. What is the partial pressure? This in this much volume. PCl5, remaining PCl5 will be in this much volume. We consider PCl5's pressure in this volume. Partial pressure of PCl3, that we consider the amount of PCl3 in this volume. Amount of Cl2 in this volume. So even if you add any amount of inert gas at a constant volume, partial pressure of these gases remain the same. So this will not affect equilibrium. This will not affect equilibrium. Kc, yeah, Kp, the amount, this, its concentration is same, its concentration same, remaining concentration is PCl5, that concentration is also same, its pressure same, remaining concentration of PCl5, that is also same. So that will not affect equilibrium. But what happens at a constant pressure? At constant pressure, to keep the pressure constant, see, you are adding an inert gas to the cylinder. You are adding an inert gas to the cylinder. To keep the pressure constant, see, something is getting added. So to keep the pressure constant, you have to increase the volume. You have to increase the volume. So what happens? Pressure of PCl5 decreased, pressure of PCl3 decreased, pressure of Cl2 decreased. So pressures are decreased, concentrations are decreased. So system will try to increase it. System will try to increase it. By how? System will try to increase the pressure by increasing the number of moles. Increasing the number of moles in which direction? In the forward direction. In the forward direction. See here 1, there 1 plus 1, 2. So here 1, there it is 1 plus 1, 2. So system will be moving in the direction where the number of moles are increased. Then only the pressure can be increased. Once again, at constant pressure, when you add an inert gas to this cylinder, maybe a balloon type, this is done at constant pressure. When you add a gas to this at a constant pressure, to keep the pressure constant means you have to increase the volume. That means you are increasing the volume. When you increase the volume, naturally naturally the concentration, naturally the pressure of these individual pressures of these fellows are decreasing. Means you are decreasing the concentration. You are decreasing the concentration. System will try to increase the concentration by increasing the number of moles. System will try to increase the pressure by increasing the number of moles. So in which direction there are more number of moles are produced, in that direction system will move. In which direction here? In this particular equation, it is in the forward direction. 1 say 200. That means more number of moles are produced when the system moves in the forward direction. So addition of an inert gas at a constant volume, at a constant pressure, at constant volume, there is no problem, no change in the equilibrium, no change in the equilibrium constants, no change. It cannot shift this equilibrium either to left or right, but at constant pressure, to keep the pressure constant, you are going to increase the volume. When you increase the volume, the individual pressures are decreasing, means ultimately you are decreasing the pressure. When you are decreasing the pressure, the system will move to increase the pressure. Increase the pressure means by increasing the number of moles. So you check that equilibrium equation where the number of moles are increased. To that direction, the system will be moving. You will be getting here you will be getting more amount of PCl3 and Cl2. That depends upon the reaction, equilibrium reaction. Next is effect of catalyst at equilibrium. Effect of catalyst at equilibrium. For a progress of reaction, we say progress of reaction or reaction coordinate. Reaction coordinate. Reaction coordinate. And potential energy. Reactants are having some amount of energy within it, that is called its potential energy. Why do a reaction take place? Reaction is taking place so that the reactants want to go to a lower energy state. Normally, most probably, products are having lower energy. So, reactants react together. Suppose this is the energy of reactants and this is the energy of products. Reaction coordinate means progress of reaction means reactants are moving to make the products. So the graph is like this. The graph is like this. Means reactants react together to form an activated complex, and that activated complex energy will be falling down. This is the product energy. This is the product. What is the energy of the product? See, product's energy is lower than that of the reactant. This is reactants, this is product's energy. So previously this was the amount of this much amount of energy. Previously this much amount of energy the reactants had. Now its energy decreased only this much. So this is the reaction coordinate. This is the normal reaction. If you put a catalyst, then the catalyst will take a reaction through a lower step, as if high jump ka wo danda niche rakhte hain, so that the student can cross that high jump, that bar. So that bar is reduced by, the bar is lowered by what? A catalyst. When you apply a catalyst, the catalyst will give you, that catalyst will give a lower energy form and the products are made. So you don't have to give that much amount of energy. Means from reactant to this much, this amount of energy we have to give, that is called activation energy. That is called activation energy. Reactants have got some amount of energy. We are giving some amount of energy so that the reaction takes place. The amount of energy we are giving, or that is required to make this activated complex, that is called activation energy. So now when you apply a catalyst, you have to give only this much amount of activation energy. Means if you are putting a catalyst, you can reduce, or you have to give only less amount of activation energy to conduct a reaction. Now what happens? You have added a catalyst. Right on. A catalyst lowers the activation energy, for both forward and backward reaction. Catalyst lowers the activation energy for both forward and backward reaction, both forward and reverse reaction by exactly the same amount, by exactly the same amount. So, it helps in attaining the equilibrium faster. So, it helps in attaining the equilibrium faster. Equilibrium faster, but it does not affect the equilibrium concentration. जितना amount होना चाहिए PCl5 या PCl3 या Cl2, that much amount will be present. Things will be done very fast. Things will be done very fast. You are walking to Gumanpura or you are going by a car. Car is the catalyst. The things will be done very faster. And you are reaching Gumanpura. Ultimately, you are reaching Gumanpura means your destination. Everything is normal only, but the time taken or that equilibrium is reached faster. It does not affect the equilibrium. It does not affect the equilibrium. Next, we are moving to the topic ionic equilibrium. Ionic. Here we will consider ionic equilibrium. Before moving to ionic equilibrium, let's see what is a strong electrolyte, what is a weak electrolyte. First of all, what is an electrolyte? Electrolyte are common salt when dissolved in water. NaCl when dissolved in water. What will happen? It will dissolve. NaCl will dissolve. How does NaCl is dissolving in water? See, I have taken this much water and I have put some amount of NaCl. I have put some amount of NaCl. NaCl got completely dissolved. NaCl has got completely dissolved. We got a solution. NaCl got completely dissolved means now it is not in the form of NaCl, it is in the form of Na plus and Cl minus, Cl minus, Na plus, Na plus, Cl minus, Na plus, Cl minus, Cl minus, Na plus. So many Na plus and Cl minus are obtained. Complete dissociation, complete ionization. See, ions are formed, that means ionization. 100% ionization. Now you don't see NaCl together, Na plus Cl minus, separate. They are broken. NaCl is broken to Na plus and Cl minus. We say 100% ionization. Yeah, 100% dissociated. We say NaCl is a strong electrolyte. An electrolyte is a substance that gets completely dissolved and changed in the form of ions, electrolyte. If you are putting 80 NaCl, then all will be getting dissociated and 80 Na plus and 80 Cl minus will be obtained. A substance which gives ions on dissolution, that is called an electrolyte. Electrolyte, that's when electrolyte is dissolved in that water, then this is a conductor. Ions are there. Ions can carry current. Electrons can carry current. Ions can carry current. Here ions are carrying current if it is connected to a circuit. So this is conducting, means when it is connected to an electric circuit, this will conduct electricity because ions can carry current. So on dissolution of an electrolyte, you get ions. If you are getting 100% ionization, we say strong electrolyte. If only very few molecules got ionized, they are dissociated, we call it as weak electrolyte. For example, acetic acid, vinegar. If I am putting vinegar in water, yeah, acetic acid, CH3COOH. I put 80 molecules of CH3COOH in water. Only 5 molecules got dissociated. 75 undissociated. It is a weak electrolyte. Only very few got dissociated. Only very few got dissociated. We call it as weak electrolyte. So if I put 80, only 5 got dissociated means 5. 1 CH3COOH dissociates into CH3COO minus and H plus. If 5 got dissociated means 5 CH3COO minus and 5 H plus, so 75 undissociated. 75 undissociated. So undissociated 75, dissociated 5. After dissociation, there will be 5 CH3COO minus and 5 H plus. So altogether 75. Then 85 particles are there. 85 particles are there. So we say an equilibrium will be reached between dissociated particles and the undissociated particles. Dissociated particles and the undissociated particles. So where is the equilibrium? This 75 CH3COOH will be in equilibrium with 5, how many? 5, and how many H plus? 5. 75 will be in equilibrium with those 5 plus 5. An equilibrium can be reached only in the case of weak acids. We have weak electrolytes. Weak electrolyte. Strong electrolyte. All the 80 got dissociated. Nothing is here. Undissociated, nothing is there. So no equilibrium is reached between this undissociated and dissociated. So before the reaction, how many? 80 were there. In the case of strong electrolyte, all 80 got dissociated. So nothing is remaining. So there is no equilibrium established in the case of strong electrolytes. In the case of weak electrolyte, we have equilibrium. So ionic equilibrium means only in the case of weak electrolytes. For us, the main electrolytes we are going to learn are acids and bases. Some acids are very weak. Today it is raining also. Some acids are very weak, some acids are very strong. For example, mineral acid, HCl, complete dissociation. HNO3, complete dissociation. H2SO4, complete dissociation. But organic acids, acetic acid, weak dissociation. Weak dissociation means only very few number of acid molecules got dissociated. So now we are going to the ionic equilibrium. Before going to the ionic equilibrium, let's go to, we are mainly dealing with acids and bases. So what is an acid? What is a base? First we'll go to an acid base. What is an acid? What is a base? There are 3 types of acids. Arrhenius acid, Lowry-Bronsted acid, and Lewis acid. Arrhenius base, Lowry-Bronsted base, or Lowry-Bronsted के लिए we say Bronsted bases. So Arrhenius acid, Bronsted acids, and Lewis acids. Similarly, Arrhenius bases, Bronsted bases, and Lewis bases. So 3 types of acids and bases we are going to see. That is, first one is, first let me see acids and bases. After that, we will be going to weak acids and weak bases. Electrolytes, we are mainly, see, NaCl is an electrolyte, but there is no equilibrium established in that. So such electrolytes we don't want. We need only now acids and bases. Acid is an electrolyte, that is HCl. HCl is an electrolyte, but it is a strong electrolyte, no equilibrium. So there is no point of telling ionic equilibrium in that. Okay, let's go to the minute level. The first stage, first step of the stage, acids and bases. Acids. Arrhenius acid. First you are going to learn Arrhenius acid. Arrhenius acid. Arrhenius acid, any species which can give one H plus ion, that is, any species which can give H plus ions, that is called an acid, Arrhenius acid. Any species which can give OH minus ions, that is Arrhenius bases. So that is in terms of H plus and OH minus. H plus acid and OH minus base. NaOH you can give HCl. Any species which can give H plus ions, that is an acid, Arrhenius acid. Any species which can produce OH minus ion, that is Arrhenius bases. Now coming to Bronsted acid and Bronsted bases. Lowry-Bronsted. We say Lowry-Bronsted acid and Lowry-Bronsted base. Lowry-Bronsted. Next year we will be telling only Bronsted acid and Bronsted base. Exactly, Lowry-Bronsted acid and Lowry-Bronsted base. Bronsted acid. Any species which can give H plus ion is Bronsted acid, but the species which can accept that H plus ion is called Bronsted base in terms of H plus. H plus giving, H plus taking. H plus giving, H plus taking. For example, NH3 plus H2. NH3 is a base. In presence of a base, water will act as an acid. In presence of an acid, water will act as a base. Water is amphoteric. Water can act as an acid, water can act as a base. In presence of a base, water will act as an acid. In presence of an acid, water will act as a base. Now here, ammonia is a base, so H2O will act as an acid. It will give H plus to this. So what you are getting, that is OH minus and NH4 plus. See, acid is a species which can give H plus ions, and that base which is accepting that H plus ions. So this is it is a Lowry-Bronsted acid and Bronsted base. For acid, from acid, what this OH minus, that is called acid chelate conjugate base. Conjugate base. Base chelate conjugate acid. Conjugate acid. Base chelate conjugate acid. So this is a pair. This acts as a pair. Acid and its conjugate base. Base and its conjugate acid. We call it as acid and its conjugate base pair. And base and its conjugate acid pair, they differ by 1 H plus. They differ by 1 H plus. So Lowry-Bronsted acid and bases, they are in terms of H plus giving, H plus accepting. H plus giving Bronsted acid. That H plus taken, that means that species which takes that H plus ion is called Bronsted base. Now, Lewis acid and Lewis base. First, let me tell you what is Lewis base. Lewis base is a species which can donate a pair of electrons. So, NH3 is a Lewis base. This pair of electrons. Here, NH3, I said this is a Bronsted base. Yes, it is a Bronsted base. It is a Lewis base in terms of this pair of electrons. NH3 can give a pair of electron, and a species which can give a pair of electron is a Lewis base. So this is Lewis base, and the species which can accept that pair of electron is Lewis acid, that is AlCl3 or BCl3. So any species which can accept that pair of electron is called a Lewis acid. So let the Lewis acid and base be there. Come to this Laurie-Bronsted acid and bases. In Laurie-Bronsted acid and bases, some species can act as Bronsted acid as well as Bronsted base. Some species can act as Bronsted acid and Bronsted base. I'm giving you one species, H2. H2. It can act as a Bronsted acid, it can give H plus N. It can give a Bronsted base, it can accept H plus N. So, from this species, what is the Bronsted? How can it act as a Bronsted acid? So, I will take out one H plus. So, what is remaining? This one. This is its conjugate. When it acts as an acid, this is the conjugate base. When it acts as an acid, this is the conjugate base. When it acts as a base, see H2O. Now I am writing base. When it acts as a base, then its conjugate acid is what? 1H plus you add into that is H3O plus hydronium ion. That is its conjugate acid. Conjugate acid. So, if a species which can give acid, which can act as an acid as well as base, for them you can write conjugate base and conjugate acid. When it acts as an acid, you can write its conjugate base. When it acts as a base, you can write its conjugate acid. They differ by 1H plus. Thank you.